Noah, do the Cavs top their 64 win season from last year?
No, but they have a way better chance to win the championship. Let's be for real.
It's back, baby. The Cleveland Cavaliers are kicking off their season, and I, for one, am pretty excited as a Browns fan. I kind of can't wait to focus on another sport. Noah, you think, I just want to jump right into it off the bat. You think they have a better chance of winning the championship this year?
Well, yeah, just almost kind of by default, honestly, with some of the injuries that have happened in the East. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton, you look at Jason Tatum, they are the odds on favorite to win the East. They are the second highest odds to win the entire thing, win a championship. OKC is plus 205 to repeat. Cleveland is plus 650. Then it's Denver, New York. The Lakers are up there, of course, for whatever reason, in
Right.
terms of top contenders by odds. So, yeah, I do. Do you not?
I don't know. This squad has not proven itself. They haven't gotten over that first round hump or second round hump. It really comes down to injury, of course. You know, Darius Garland obviously had that surgery. DeAndre Hunter now is dealing with a knee issue. Um, I don't know. I don't know where this team stands. They looked like world beaters in the regular season, and if we've learned anything, regular season NBA basketball does not matter. Like one iota. So, what team is going to show up in the playoffs? You know, I've been a big proponent that we need one more piece, and I'm not sure that that's still not the case.
Yeah, so I'm up and down about this thought process, right? The injuries I think play a big role. I think they play a huge role in terms of what's going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You mentioned Darius Garland. We don't know for sure when he's going to be back. It's not going to be the first game of the season for all intents and purposes, from what has been said in the media and whatnot. You look over at Max Struess, he's not going to be back until January, February. He's out with an injury. Hunter has got some stuff going on preseason wise right now. All of that being said, I do think that another year of this team, another year of this gelling with some of the additions they've made too, gives them a strong case to finally get over the hump. I know we were really in our feels the last time we talked about the Cavs in this regard in terms of predictions and what's next for the team. Are they going to make a move? Whatever. Um, you look back and even though they did everything in their power not to be hurt in that playoff series, the one they lost to the eventual runners up, the Indiana Pacers, they were banged up. I mean, all four of the stars were banged up for that series. And if we could get to a point where we're not banged up playing in those postseason games, God forbid we don't get banged up, I think they have a real shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have this maybe second best shooting guard in the NBA. Maybe the first. Him and Ant probably go back and forth in my opinion. But really, I think the play that matters, it comes down to Darius Garland. I will say I'm most excited for his backup, Lonzo Ball. I think he could make a real impact, especially defensively for us. But I think it's that periphery that we both signed, extended. Those are the players that matter, and those are the ones that absolutely disappeared in the playoffs last year. And to expect anything different without seeing the proof of it, I'm just not sure that I'm there yet.
No, and that's totally valid too. You said that you point a lot of the attention to Darius Garland, and I think you already know where I'm going with this because it's been the same drum I've beat for the last, I don't know, 3 seasons.
One
I think
Evan Mobley.
it falls on Evan Mobley. It's always gonna fall on Evan Mobley. Listen, I've seen some media takes going on out there. I'm trying to remember who. I think it was Tracy McGrady, and then UCS was talking about it. I've seen some of the sports radios talk about it as well. But Tracy McGrady, during one of our preseason games that were actually on NBC because they're trying to hype up NBA on NBC, was talking about how he thinks Evan Mobley could be an MVP contender this year. Did you see that?
I did not know.
Well, he said it, and they were trying to break it down how it could happen. Do you think it'll happen? Where are you in terms of the Evan Mobley MVP train?
I'm not there. I think he's he's in my top 5 as a power forward, but he's not he might be 5th, honestly. Trying to think who I put above him. Giannis, obviously. I still probably put LeBron above him. AD when he's healthy, I put above him, and then Carl Anthony Towns. So I think Mobley probably comes in fifth on that list. Can he have a huge season and be that guy? Yeah, I think we've seen that the ability is there. But to string it together consecutively for me, I'm just not sure I'm buying MVP candidate. I think, Donovan Mitchell has a better shot, and that's probably even a long shot. SGA, Jokic, and Luca are going to be your top candidates. I think they already are right now for MVP. So to put Evan Mobley there, I'm just not buying on it yet.
Well,
And I think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but
no, I think that's a totally valid take. You know, I am the king of Evan Mobley stock. I have it piled up over here in the corner off the screen. It's literally in the shape of Evan Mobley. That's how much Evan Mobley stock I have stockpiled here in my apartment.
yeah,
But I do think it's a little bit of a long stretch. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility will never happen or not happen this season, but
no,
it's a
he's
long stretch.
He's gotta go off. For my money, if I'm taking a long bet, it's gonna be Don. But even before him, I think I'm going like a Jalen Brunson, or an Anthony Edwards. They're both long shots. I don't think either one of them are favored, but those three I would put ahead of Evan Mobley and Donovan on our own team. If I had to put my money somewhere, it'd be on him.
Let's go to Fantasyland for 1 second.
Okay.
Let's just do it because we're allowed to be happy-go-lucky about the Cavs right now because the season hasn't started. We haven't become disgruntled Cleveland fans like we tend to be, right? Evan Mobley goes off this season, has an awesome year, wins an MVP. I mean, think of what that player would look like. Evan Mobley has done leaps and bounds year after year, but we're talking more three-point percentage, more three-point shooting, more shooting all overall. I mean, that's really where it comes down to. He's already one of the best. He was the best defender in the NBA last year. He won the award for it. But then you put together some real shooting stints. I think he was at like what 20 to 22 points per game. If he jumps to like 26 or something like that per game on similar minute, I mean, that would be a lot. That would be fantastic for this Cavs team that for all intensive purposes is competing for a championship this year.
Yeah, and it's also a Cavs team that his teammates have made clear that a good night is feeding through Evan Mobley. What I love about this team is that we're not ball selfish for the most part. I have my gripes throughout the season with Garland at times, but for the most part, we flow pretty well with one another. Yeah, I like Mobley a lot. I'm just I need to see it. But he has made leaps and bounds every single year so far. And we talked about last year going into the year, he needed to be more aggressive. We saw that out of him. I don't think the issue is our core. I think the issue, like I said, is the periphery. What are we going to get out of a Dean Wade, for example, on the team? What are we going to get out of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Um, and how deep can we get those minutes? Jared Allen's another one. I don't consider him part of the core. Can we get more out of Jared Allen this year that can help push us towards a championship? Because that's what it's going to take. And I got to tell you, last year, playoff time, we did not look gritty. We did not look like we wanted it more than the Pacers. I mean, we recapped this at the end of last year. They looked like they were hungrier. And so the Cavs need to find that drive, whatever it is, behind them, because they didn't have it last year.
No, and I think some of that can go back to talking about as much as we didn't want to take it as an excuse at the time because we were so high on the team is the injury aspect of it. But I think that's always been a knock on this Cavs team is they're more finesse than grit. You know what I mean? They're more into the dribble moves and all of that instead of and flashiness in that way regard than like say Jared Allen lowering his shoulder and just running over an MFer for lack of a better term. I agree
Well,
with
that
you on that
that didn't win it
100%.
for us. That's the problem. I mean,
Right, no.
I don't care how you play. You gotta win and you gotta match your opponent. And it's not the first year. The same thing happened against the New York Knicks. Damn near against Orlando too. We get out physicaled in these games. And by the way, pound for pound, I think we have arguably the best coach in the NBA. And that has tipped the scale. but when it comes to playoff time and getting something out of those guys, his rotations lacked a little bit at playoff time. And I know we're previewing the season. I'm getting really ahead of myself and ourselves here. But this is the good thing about Cavaliers basketball. Here's the good news, folks. I'm finding such minute things to gripe about. I'm saying I don't know if we're there yet to be a champion again, but we're damn close. So, I'm nitpicking, but know that those are small things. I think we have one hell of a team.
I do think this team is deep. I do think this team has a lot of ability to win and make a run. And that's because of some of the key additions that this team has made. Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance Jr., Thomas Bryant, Tyrese Proctor, excuse me. How are you feeling about the additions? I know we lost a Coro and Javante Green, Ty Jerome. Where are you at though?
I'm excited. I'm excited for Larry Nance Jr. to return. He's a favorite. I'm actually really excited for that 1 year deal for Thomas Bryant. Adding big man depth, I think, is really key here. The league tried to move away from the big man, and we've seen that that's not the style of basketball that the Cavs need to be playing. So I love that. He's also a guy that rebounds and can hit spot up threes too. So I like that pickup a lot.
Can I
But
jump in
between,
real quick?
yeah,
Just on Thomas Bryant, because I do like that pickup a lot as well. He almost takes up the Tristan Thompson roster spot, but actually has the ability to check into games, unlike Tristan Thompson, who is just the unk on the bench. You know what I mean?
he does. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mentioned I'm excited for Lonzo Ball. I think he adds something. He looked really good defensively for Chicago. So that's a key piece that I think playing alongside DeAndre Hunter can be pretty good for us. Um, but for us, it's we go through these weird stretches, right? We're hot and we're like really hot, but then we just shut down and get cold and we let teams back in it. And I think ultimately that's we just got too far behind in those games against Indiana last year. I want to see more consistency, especially from some of these new guys, especially from that bench player role that we haven't seen. We didn't see it last year, and we need to see.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I know you're not super high on the regular season, but I do want to ask you this as well. Betting odds wise, over under 56.5 wins for the Cavs this season. That is the typical line, the average line I have seen out there. How do you feel?
That's a good question. So last year they won 64.
Yeah.
They went 64 and 18. You said 56 and a half.
Yep.
If I had to bet, like you're saying, empty my life savings, I think I take the under. I mean, think of that stretch that we had to win 64. 56 is only 8 games off of that. That's not a ton. But I would say we'd be right around that. It's a really good line for Vegas because I think we'd be right around that mark.
You know, I am the known Cleveland optimist. So thinking that they're only going to win 56 or less than 56 games, to me, it's a no brainer. Like, yeah, they'll hit 58, they'll hit 60 all day just because I'm optimistic for the team I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think 55 to 65 is the mark to expect, 65 obviously being on the high end. Best case scenario here that I mean, they're clear they should close the East, right? Like
Yeah.
I do expect this team to make a push for the finals this year. And I know that goes contrary to what I was saying. I'm just not sure they're there yet to win it. Circle January 19th though, because we play OKC and that's one just to look at on the calendar to look forward to and kinda get a temperature gauge of where we're at.
Those are the fun games about the NBA regular season. I know we sit here and we're all poo poo, ho hum. We lost in the second round. None of it matters to us until they're in the playoffs again. But you come to a OKC game or you get to a New York Knicks because they're the second favorite in the East behind us. That's when I think this is still going to be fun. Another place that I think it could be fun because it should be able for us to see some more of the competitive side of this Cleveland Cavaliers team. The
Mhm.
in-season tournament is the thing again this year, of course. I know a lot of fans have their ups and downs with that. The Cavs are the third favorite team at plus 600 to win the in-season tournament behind just the Knicks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not gonna be upset if they don't even make it to, like, the actual tournament player, however that works, I gotta remember. But if they make a run at that and they look competitive and they're really trying, it's a good temperature gauge as well.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm not high on that. It's the NBA trying to make the regular season more likable, get more viewers. It doesn't mean anything. It's a Mickey Mouse trophy. That's my issue with it. And players know that, and they play accordingly. I'm not saying they don't try to win, but it's another regular season game kind of thing. I'm curious though, Noah. Just looking around the rest of the league, obviously there were a lot of big changes this year. Give me your top 5 teams in order of who you think is strongest right now.
OKC, the Cavs are 1 and 2.
Yep.
Um, the Knicks are up there. I don't have an exact order. This is tough, especially with some of the injuries going on. I think the Lakers are still dangerous, depending on how well
Luca,
Luca's
yeah.
diet went. And I know you want like
The
this
diet.
hard list, and I don't have one. I wish you would
No,
have
no, that's
texted me this
okay.
beforehand. I'm trying to think off of the top of my head. Um, it's hard because I'm trying like I'm like Boston, no, because Jason Tatum.
Well, let me give you my 1 through 4 because where I'm stuck is number 5.
Okay, go
Uh,
for it.
for 1, I'm with you at 1 and 2 both, OKC followed by Cleveland. And then I have Denver and New York, in that order. For
Denver, I was
5,
forgetting, yeah.
I'm stuck. And I wanna almost put Houston there. Like, I think that adding KD, it's interesting. It could go one of 2 ways. Either it goes great or it goes terribly. Golden State, a retooled Golden State, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at.
And then you could put the Lakers up there. I know I kinda poo-pooed on it on the top of the show, but you think about Luca and LeBron potential last season going all out one more time to try to get a ring. I don't know. It's tough. That's why this team and this season is going to be so intriguing, even though we were so down after they lost in the second round last year, because of how wide open the NBA feels with some of the injuries, some of the different roster movements. I mean, the Bucks still have Giannis, but they don't really have anything much else going on over there. They
Plus,
added
maybe
what's his
not for
name?
long.
Right. Yeah. That rumor mill pops up every other day. It's gonna be super intriguing to see what happens with some of these, bigger names in the league gone. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the biggest names in the East and Halliburton and Jason Tatum going to be out for all intents and purposes the majority of the season, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. This league has changed so much. Who I would expect to be the top 2 teams aren't necessarily the top 2. And I'm not saying I don't expect us to be, but, SGA's really come into his own, obviously. I mean, he looked incredible last year. Can he continue that? I know they're favorites to repeat. I don't believe in it. We've talked about it before. It's so tough to repeat in sports. I don't know. I think you might be right that the Cavs are well positioned. I just until they can beat a team like the Pacers in the playoffs, I don't know. I need to reserve judgment for now.
Yeah, there's a couple other things I wanna go over real quick, just thinking bigger picture with the Cleveland Cavaliers. ESPN has a statistical model that projects, how a team's gonna do or whatever. I don't know how much you put value into this,
Mhm.
but ESPN's model projected the Cavs to win approximately 50 games. So it was like 50.2. Do you see that being a likely outcome? Do you see them getting more than that or less than that? I know we were talking about what the lines were in terms of Vegas, but
Yeah, again, it's just so hard. I saw the same article that was talking about Cleveland regressing this year. And the thing is, I can see that being true. Uh, like like I could see it the other way. I could see them potentially pushing for a championship. I don't know with this team because they're so streaky. That's the biggest issue here. Um, I believe in Kenny Atkinson though. And I think as an X factor, like he's been such a good coach for us since he's gotten here. He was my number one choice. We talked about it, before they even put him in that role. I think he could be our X factor. I like that he adjusts and that no one game or player group is necessarily the same lineup. Um, so I think he could be the X factor there. I would say more than 50. I don't expect a huge regression, but again, it wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, I mean, the 64, if they don't touch that and say they go 54, an example, I don't think any of us are going to be upset about that at the end of the day. This is a good transition. And again, I'm moving on because I agree with you, but this is a good transition into what my next question is the Cavaliers did such a good job about doing load management throughout the season to avoid injuries, yet still faced injuries in the playoffs. Do you think we're going to see a change of pace from that this year? That maybe we'll let our players play a little bit longer in the thought process of conditioning versus coddling?
I like conditioning versus coddling. That's a good line. Your next article headline, write that down.
I got
Uh,
you.
Listen, yeah, I think that there should be a change. Will we see it? I don't know. Because they looked gassed last playoff run. I mean, they looked like they had nothing left in the tank. And you have to imagine that comes from not playing much during the regular season, the lack of conditioning, right? When you're a professional athlete and you're used to a certain routine, if it's the difference of 5 minutes, that's a huge difference. I think you're more likely it's not like your legs just go dead all of a sudden and you can't play anymore. I think you got used to, like you said, sitting in the 4th quarter, and now you're not playing 4 quarters of basketball. So while load management can be important for guys like LeBron, who's, you know, celebrating his 80th birthday soon, for a young core team, I'm not sure that they should approach it the same way.
No, I'm with you 100% in that mindset as well. I don't know if it should be like a roller coaster, like start out, dip up. I don't have the answer to that because I'm not one of these analytics nerds, for lack of a better term, that can figure out what makes the most sense of going up and down with that load management. So that way they are conditioned yet not going to be hurt going into the preseason, Jesus, the postseason that is. Um, but I think that there does need to be a little bit of a change because we loved it while we were watching it. We thought it made a lot of sense with the load management that was going on with Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff. But in retrospect, you look at they make it to round two and they're all banged up and dog tired because they didn't play as much. And maybe that correlation isn't really what happened there. Maybe we just got bad luck. But to the naked eye, to me and you who sit down and talk about sports 5 days a week, I mean, that's what it seems to be, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to tell too because so much of sports is just catching fire in a bottle at the right time. You could go on a run. I mean, you see it in baseball, you see it in basketball. Typically, that outs itself come playoff time, but it's still a hot team. Like, who's not to say that OKC wasn't just hot at the right time? Obviously, they were hot the entire season, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they were the it team last year. And I would say if not for them, maybe we push for a title. But again, no, because we didn't get past the Pacers, who looked very good, by the way, including in that next round. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I will say this though. I think in sports we have an over reliance on analytics these days. Ever since
No,
the
I agree.
A's introduced Moneyball, you and I work in marketing and advertising, and we see it all the time where companies overanalyze and use analytics in a way that they're going a little too deep, and it's to their detriment. I think the same thing is happening in sports. So when you bring that up, you don't have the analytics in front of you. I think teams are just going overboard with it and it's not helping things.
No, I think that rings true to a lot of different things that we see, including with our beloved Cleveland Browns. But we don't have to dig
Ugh.
that tunnel. We are in a good mood. We are wearing Cavaliers gear today. Um, two little quick questions left. Well, two kind of broad questions, but we'll rapid fire this. When we're talking about the leader statistical categories for last season, Donovan Mitchell was the points per game leader. Do you see that happening again this year?
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you in that right now. I reserve the right to buy more Evan Mobley stock the minute it becomes available when that MVP campaign gets started.
Okay.
Darius Garland averaged the most assists per game at 6.7. Do we see him be the leader in assists yet again this year?
I will say yes, because he'll be running the offense. I think he'll also lead us in turnovers. I'm not sure if you have that stat line available, but
I don't.
I call it a gut feeling.
Fair enough. I do think he will be the leader in average assists per game. This is obviously all average, just because. that's what his role is going to be. And I think they're going to continue to have facilitation from the guards to the bigs. Speaking of the bigs, Jared Allen, rebounds per game. He was the leader last year. Do you see that happening this year?
I'll say no.
Okay.
I think Jared Allen's gonna get less time this year, on the floor, and I could see a guy like Evan Mobley honestly leading it, more so than Allen.
I hear my change machine ringing over here. Some more Evan Mobley stock just came into the apartment because I agree with you
Ding,
110.
ding, ding.
Right. 110 damn percent. I think Evan Mobley's going to be the rebound leader this year. They have so much better big rotation with Thomas and Larry Nance being able to come in here as well. Letting Evan Mobley play that five. DeAndre Hunter can move to the four sometimes. I think there's a lot of great flexibility with this roster that Evan Mobley, in terms of the rebound percentage, will for sure continue to explode and become more and more of that unicorn you and I know and love.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's who I see leading it, and again, I think the offense needs to flow through Evan Mobley.
I do as well. I think everybody, including Donovan Mitchell himself, has said that at this point, and I think we will continue to see that this season. Erik, where do you see this team ending up at the end of the season? Your shotgun, knee jerk, end of season, early season, whatever you want to say, thought process of the Cleveland Cavaliers right now.
I think they're gonna fall just short. I'll put them as losing either in the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals. I think they make a bigger push and they get past a bit of a playoff hump, but I think they do run out of steam. That's the prediction that I'll give.
Yeah,
Where are you
yeah.
at?
Where am I at, buddy? I'm a known Cleveland homer.
Oh
I'm
boy.
a part-time Cavs employee, and I'm feeling good about this team after being very down on it. Shout out our boy Devin because I was
I'm
very, very down on the team for our first preseason game, but I'm all the way back in. I'm all the way bought in.
I'm
I'm
sensing an
ready.
objective take coming. Go on.
No, there's no objective take. Well, is it an objective take?
No,
I
that's
don't
my
know.
point.
Cavs in four.
Yeah, not objective is my point.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I'd love to see it. You know what I really want to see the most? Talked about role players performing better, et cetera, et cetera. I want to see a little more movement on offense. And what I mean by that is, Steph Curry for a long time was one of, if not the best player in the league. And he was constantly moving when the ball wasn't in his hands. He was trying to come
Yeah.
off those screens, those pick plays. We don't do enough of that. Too often last season, we'd come down the court and then just stand around the three line, including Mobley at some points, and it's like, what did we call a play there? So I'd like to see that ironed out a little better this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the offense evolves. It's to note last year was an Olympic year as well. And Kenny Atkinson, I think, was France or something like that's head coach. So he wasn't with the team as long as some other coaches would typically be in their first year. So he's had a full off season now to mold and continue to work with some of the players that he really does love here on this Cavaliers roster. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get to see more evolution in the offense and more evolution in evolution. I almost said Evan Mobley again because the stock is going so high, baby. No, but evolution on both sides of the ball is what I was trying to get at there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we are going to see that. All right. Break it down for me real quick, though. And I think I know your answer, but who's your X factor? And I do think we differ actually on this answer.
X factor on the season, it's Evan Mobley. We go where Mobley takes us. That's been my take since I don't know, the first year of
We,
Donovan Mitchell
we
still being
drafted him.
here. Yeah, no, literally. I think we go as far as he takes us. I think he is the X factor. I think he is a dog. He has the ability to be a dog. Do rag Evan Mobley was spotted in AI. It wasn't a real picture with Kevin Garnett this season, and I need to see that this year. Who's your X factor?
Mine's gonna be Darius Garland, actually. I think that I expect a lot from Evan Mobley, and I agree offense should flow through him. Like I expect a lot. There was a lot last year. I expect him to continue to improve. But DG's the guy that I think can put us over the top. He's the guy that can be, it's funny, you talk about being scrappy, you talk about uh you know, being the guy. I think he can be that, especially when we need it, when Donovan needs a break or needs a breather. Donovan goes and gets us buckets in the playoffs, but I think DG can be that guy and be the X factor.
I think what you're really saying is we need the 3 of them to be the big 3 that the 3
Well,
of them can be, and will win a championship and be great, which I could not agree with any more. I almost said any less, but I could
more.
not agree with any more.
All right. We're talking basketball, but I want to switch because Noah, baby, we're live again. We are on the road doing shows this weekend in Muni Lot. Catch us at 10:30. We're going to be going live. I'll be heading into the game after. I think Noah might be. I don't know. We'll see. But come find us. The following week, we will be at Tapster, Cleveland. There are new friends there. We'll be broadcasting live from that bar, 12 p.m. And then in November, after the bye week, we will be back in Muni Lot once again, 10:30. As always, when we're in Muni, you can find us with that nice, beautiful at the office flag that will be flying high.
And we will always be in that front first lot as well. We will find a place to set up a table and fly the flag and talk to you guys for about an hour or so when we're in Muni Lot because it's so much damn fun. And speaking of damn fun, Eric, of course, we have a giveaway to go along with our live shows. It wouldn't be a live show without some incentive, some fun, giving back to the community. We are giving away any Browns or Cavs jersey of your choice. You get to pick the player, and we will, ship it to your door, and you can wear it or give it to your kid, give it to your aunt, uncle, whatever. It'll be about holiday time when we choose November 17th. All you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment to At the Office on YouTube.
Can I make a recommendation real quick, Noah?
What's that?
Whoever wins, pick the Cavs.
Please, please pick the Caps.
Don't pick a Browns player. It's not worth it.
No, not right now. Not at the time of recording, at least. Maybe if you see this in the future and you're coming back to watch our preview, maybe the Browns did something to make you excited. But
Probably not. And on that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.